Welcome to the MSDW podcast. I'm Jason Gumpert, editor at MS Dynamics World. On this episode, we are previewing European Power Platform Conference 2026. MS Dynamics World is a media partner of the event, and to learn a little more about what to expect at EPPC, we are talking with Sean Astrakhan. He's a Microsoft MVP and is presenting 2 sessions at the conference. We talk a little bit about what Sean will be delivering, some of the implications for customers out in the world, and what else we're looking forward to at the event. As a media partner of EPPC, we also have a discount code. If you are still looking to join the event, check out our link in the show notes. Sean, welcome to the podcast. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks, Jason. Big follower of your work and MS Dynamics World, so this is an honor.
We've run into each other on the conference scene in the last year, the last couple months even, so it's great to sit down and get a chance to chat with you. And this time, really, I wanted to learn a little bit more about your involvement at the upcoming EPPC 2026, the European Power Platform Conference. It's coming up very soon, and you are quite involved. You have a couple sessions, right?
Yeah, I have 2 sessions, one on how to 10x your automations. So it's going to be my first session that isn't 100% AI focused. There are a lot of tools from Power Automate to Logic Apps to way more that aren't related to AI, incredibly affordable, and can process hundreds of thousands of records in ways that companies need today, and they resort to hacky solutions that aren't reliable. So I'm excited to share those. And then I have a session that I've done multiple times that I adore, which is called Extremely Accurate AI, and it's how to use AI at scale, far beyond the limitations of Copilot Studio.
Yeah, let's chat a bit about each of those because I have questions. When it comes to integration, it's one of my favorite personal topics because I think it's such a dynamic area and there's so many ways it can be approached and so many choices that companies have about it. And it sounds like, just from looking at the description that you created for it, that you will approach it that way, that people can look at integrations in different ways and that there's definitely not a one-size-fits-all solution. So
in this one, I'm going to start with Power Automate because people understand that, but it's less about, here's a thing Power Automate does, and I'm going to approach it from a software best practice point of view and get into software concepts around how do you maintain, like how do you decouple certain items, how do you follow solid principles, which is a bunch of jargon to say how do you take your data and as it moves through the pipeline, it all stays as a single unit and doesn't fall apart along the way. So if, Jason, you're working on a data migration and then I come and join you later to work on it, my stuff doesn't break your stuff and your stuff works as I expected it. Because usually when 2 people start working on the same thing, it crashes, and I'm going to show how you use software principles to avoid that. That'll be through Power Automate because people know that tool and it'll be familiar. And then the other one is I'm going to go into Logic Apps, which I'm excited about because it has a lot of capabilities that is far beyond Power Automate. It works as a whole separate ecosystem, and most people think of it as like, oh, that's like Power Automate's Azure cousin. I'm like, no, the way it handles security and the way it handles scale, a whole different tool.
It's a topic area where I think you said you're not really going to bring AI into it, and that totally makes sense. But it's an area where I think even when I do see AI introduced into it, I mean, I've seen some interesting scenarios of kind of multi-stage either integration or migration patterns that do try to use AI, but I think those are still pretty early on, and I would guess not everyone's ready to dive into that approach yet.
Absolutely. And AI is great for like coding it. We're going to show how AI can help here. However, for data processing, it has to be deterministic. It's very rarely that you would want AI involved, or you're suddenly going to have these like giant delays all throughout the process on top of burning your tokens.
Yeah. I will say, I mean, this is a bit of an aside, but one of the things that this most recent, I guess, cycle of events has made me think about as I've talked to vendors and walked show floors is some evolving stories, I think, from the integration platform providers that are out there. And I know that's not the topic of your session, but I think they have sort of interesting new stories to tell or evolving stories to tell about what purpose they serve as opposed to maybe some of the types of solutions and architectures that you're going to be building. I think it almost feels like those two options are going to live in very different worlds going forward.
Yeah, this might be a fun pivot. Let me know if we should cut this out of the interview. I am so curious about how different ISVs who made these really cool plugins and extensions for Power Platform, like or Dynamics, how are they doing now? Is AI a threat to them because people can kind of code it themselves? Or are they like, now we're shipping even more and even faster and better than ever? Do you know the answer to that?
I think it varies on a case-by-case basis, like in terms of which product you're talking about. So I've most recently heard that conversation in the context of Business Central, but yeah, it's absolutely being discussed a lot. It's like, if you're a partner and that's part of your bread and butter is developing extensions, as they call them in Business Central. Yeah, if you can code them super fast and turn them over in a sixth of the time that you typically would bill for, what does that mean for your work and your relationship with your client and what they expect? Yeah, it's a huge question there. I don't know. I assume there's probably the same conversation or the same thoughts going on in the CE world, certainly F&O. But yeah, that's a big topic for the future for sure. And when I look at your other session that you have planned, and I think back to other topics I've seen people talking about in the field and so forth, it seems like accuracy and reliability are huge priorities for any business for planning and investment in these kinds of capabilities. Can you tell us more about what that session will look like?
I'm going into how do you get reliable results when you use AI. One of the tools I dive into is Azure AI Search. So what's this? What would you call this if you wanted to buy this?
A mobile phone.
Yeah, okay, so you call it a mobile phone. Other people call it a mobile. Other people call it a phone. Other people call it a cell. Other people might call it an Android. Other people might mess up and call it an iPhone. In all those scenarios, as our systems are currently built right now, if you search for any of those terms, you only get an exact text match. So let's hope you typed in cell phone, because if they call it a mobile, you're not getting your results. And the consequences of that are customers can't find the products they want on your website, or your internal staff can't help clients fast enough because they can't find the data there, or your users who just do their jobs end up burning time and emotional energy looking for things that don't exist, or looking for things that exist but they're not using the right words for. And I'm showing how tools like Azure AI Search create a semantic meaning between things. So if you search for any of the 5 words that describe this thing, they would all bring you into phone. And then if you said something like, I need to call him later, it does not show you like a telephone. It would get into the verb of calling. So I'm demonstrating that one as an enterprise solution, because right now people think that AI can do that, but it can on very small data sets. The second you move past like 10, 50, 100 records, that's too much for AI to take in. So you need a tool that can, and I'll explain in the session, to index your data so it can all be searched on via semantic meaning.
Yeah, pretty interesting, and I suspect not the first thing that a lot of companies are thinking about when they try to design a solution or just imagine what they can do with them.
Yeah, it's because people don't know, and rightly so, how AI works. And once you know how it works, there's only 2 ways that it can work when it comes to querying stuff. So I'm going to show you those 2 ways. Then people can become a lot more build the systems that are reliably the way they want.
All right. Well, I know you're going to be very busy at the event. Obviously, 2 sessions. That's a lot of prep time and a lot of focus. There is a lot going on at this event. I was looking through the agenda myself. It's a busy 3 days plus a day of workshops. Has anything caught your eye?
I've looked at none of the sessions. I've been preparing mine. I cannot wait to go. I am very honored that I think both of my sessions are at an early part of the day, so that's like pretty prime time, which means they either are doing me a favor and they like me, or they're like, his sessions are not going to be very good. Let's not use them at the end or people won't stay for it. So we'll see what happens. But no, I'm excited to probably skill up in areas of, as I said earlier, like governance. I pay a little less attention to that because I'm more focused on performance, output, and tangible business value. And security is in that category, but just the one I'm less interested in. So I naturally don't focus on it. So I need to go and learn that because I have clients who ask for it, and I need to be ready to show that my solutions are safe.
Yeah, excellent. And sorry to put you on the spot there, because I know that, like I said, I know when presenters are getting ready for an event, their focus is on their sessions, and that totally makes sense. I was looking through the keynotes, at least. I saw a lot of sessions that look interesting, and a lot of them overlap, unfortunately, as usual for big events. But when I was looking at what Microsoft's going to be bringing, a lot of demos and customer stories seem to be the emphasis, and at least in the descriptions that I'm seeing from the session for Ryan Cunningham and the session from Nirav Shah. I mean, it seems like being hands-on and showing this audience what they can be doing with the product, what other people with services and what others have already done with it, seems like it's going to be one of the big areas of emphasis. So I'm kind of just trying to read the tea leaves on that one, but that's kind of what I'm going to go into the event expecting. So and it's my first time there too. We've been a media partner of EPPC in the past, but the first time I'm getting there as well.
It must be fun to have your role of being like a reporter. Like, it just feels to me very Peter Parker and Clark Kent. You get to go and observe and see what's going on. Like, I've never gone to a conference where I wasn't a presenter, so I don't know what it's like to actually just enjoy it. I think my ego is too big for me to allow myself to go to a conference if I'm not a presenter. But I do romanticize it, and it does seem like a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, you're both a really good teacher, I think, and an excellent learner. I think myself and other people really try to learn, like, get something from the learning there that we wouldn't get on our own. And yeah, I mean, I think I've done both sides of it as well. But being a speaker, I mean, it can consume your mind, right? In a way that when you're not a presenter, it doesn't.
Right.
Anything else you want to let our listeners know about where they can find you or what else you're up to?
Yeah, if you want to learn advanced AI, especially enterprise AI, stuff that isn't cool in a demo but actually works in production, I have a workshop for free that's tomorrow. You're not going to be able to make that, but I have the same workshop end of July. You're all welcome to come to it. It's free. It's 5 days of intense learning. We put a $7 paywall on it, but we give you your $7 back. It's just to keep out the riffraff and make sure that anyone who registers actually shows up.
Wow, excellent. Yeah, we'll put a link to that in the show notes. Sean, thank you so much for joining me today. See you in Copenhagen.
Jason, it's a pleasure.
This has been another episode of the MSDW podcast. My thanks once again to Sean for joining me today. As we mentioned, there is a link in the show notes for more information from Sean, as well as our page for the event, where we will be adding more coverage as the event goes on. And that's it for this episode. If you want to get in touch with me, you can send me an email, jason@msdynamicsworld.com. For all of our updates, please do follow us on LinkedIn. Until next time, this is MS Dynamics World, signing off.